SBR Videos is sponsored by Sports Cash System. Click on the link below for more information. Hi, welcome to SBR Forum Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. We are doing our regular Monday afternoon call with Joe Duffy from OffshoreInsiders.com, taking a look at the recent opening lines for the upcoming weekend in the NFL. Right now, we're looking ahead to NFL Week 14. Joe, thanks for being back with us.
Thank you, Peter.
All right, Joe Duffy, 23-11 against the spread in the NFL in our video so far this year, including a perfect 3-0 against the spread on the Thanksgiving Day games. Joe Duffy, thanks so much for doing all these calls with us all year long. Congratulations on another great week with us.
Thank you, Peter. And I did go 4-0 with my premium plays yesterday. I almost forgot on my last video who they were, but it was Denver, Arizona under, the Giants, and Carolina.
Unbelievable. All right. So let's take a look at some of these opening lines. There's a bunch of interesting ones that I want to get your take on. The first one I want to ask you about is KC at Washington. Now, Washington's off the, the Giants loss, and KC has now lost 3 in a row. But they, I feel like the public is still looking at them as a team that they want to bet on. And Washington, having now lost 2 high-profile primetime games, a Monday night game and then a Sunday night game, I'm not saying I'm going to bet it, but I could easily see Washington wind up being a sharp side this week.
It was funny. Without looking at this week's upcoming schedule, I don't have it memorized. I was saying to myself, 2 teams that the public is likely going to want to go against is both of these politically incorrect named teams, the Chiefs and the Redskins. But of course, they wind up playing each other. But as I always say, first of all, whenever in doubt and when you're going to predict where the public's going to go, always go with the road favorites.
Right.
But number 2, I most definitely believe that the public is much more likely to go against Washington than they would be Kansas City, because I think we were all thought that RG3 was making some progress at the beginning of the year, but he has regressed again. Robert Griffin III is among the worst quarterbacks in the NFL right now. I would say almost certainly the public will be betting on Kansas City, or more accurately against Washington.
Yeah, so what do you think about maybe, Washington winding up being a sharp side? I could see talking to Brent on, on Friday and have him telling me that sharp action came in on Washington, +3, -110.
Now, I think if anything, that if somehow Shanahan announces that he's going to go with Kirk Cousins, who is a very competent backup, and the line goes up, some sharp money will come there. But no, I really don't think there's going to be a lot of sharp money on the Redskins. I think that they're going to stick with RG3 for the time being. But something very, like I said, something very interesting. If Cousins does take over, I actually think the sharps will be eager to bet on him.
Yeah, I might bet that if Cousins takes over for sure. All right, and then the second team that I thought the public is going to want to fade this week. See, I thought you were going to say that you said that the Chiefs is the other team that you were going to look at, but I thought it was going to be the Jets. I mean, the Jets have looked absolutely horrible. Sims coming in didn't really help at all. They've scored 6 points in the last 2 games, so I'm assuming that the public's going to want to auto fade them no matter who they're playing. This week they're at home hosting Oakland, which is not like necessarily the best matchup if you're looking to fade the Jets, but I have to assume that the public is going to bet Oakland even as a small road dog here.
Yeah, they weren't necessarily the 2 top teams, but they were 2 of the teams,
right.
And I agree with you there. The Jets have been absolutely atrocious, and I did see today it was officially announced, I guess, that Geno Smith, they're going to stick with Geno Smith, that quarterback. Now, keep in mind that still Smith's has been maybe more accurately less worse than he has been better at home, but Smith's splits are much better at home than he is on the road. In Oakland, the public does generally like to bet against teams traveling from one coast to the other coast, especially from the West Coast to the East Coast. But yeah, all in all, betting against the Jets is going to be a big public play. So if the public is going to bet on an underdog this week, I would say Oakland would be a good choice for sure. And in fact, I did say where I have some metrics, Oakland is one of the teams that I do believe the public will be betting on this week.
Okay, and then Denver, once again, a double-digit home favorite, which, I assume is always something that's going to at least get a decent amount of lopsided public action. They're hosting Tennessee. You think that's going to be the case this week?
Yes, no. In fact, I will tell you that the 3 games signaled out in addition, I already told you Oakland, it is Pittsburgh, and then the Denver Broncos. Not shockingly there, the public loves to bet on the Broncos. They looked impressive again yesterday. I think that, and again, this is not going way out on a limb, but the public will be betting on both Denver and the over. And over is the biggest public play according to the metrics that I use. So yeah, almost no question about it they will be betting Denver, and I wouldn't be surprised if that flirts with 14 by kickoff.
So you just mentioned the Miami Pitt game. Now that's a game that with the controversy with Tomlin, I'm not exactly sure I'd want to touch aside here. I'm kind of thinking though that the over at 41 might be a good bet. That's just like a personal lean of mine. I don't know if the sharps would touch that or the public would touch it, but right now it's Pitt -3. What do you make of those lines?
Yeah, as far as the total is concerned, neither one of these teams has a very explosive offense. Pittsburgh continues to be ravaged on their offensive line, yet more injuries there. The reason I think the public is also going to bet on Pittsburgh, in addition to the metrics that I use, is they always love betting on teams in a quote-unquote must-win situation. Now, the game on Thanksgiving night in which the controversy took place, that was considered, a quote-unquote virtual elimination game. The truth is Pittsburgh still can go into the playoffs, but just about every scenario says they have to win out the remaining games. And I think the public loves betting teams in must-win games. Pittsburgh is always going to be a public team because they're a marquee team. And, of course, they've won their 6 Super Bowls, et cetera. So I think that's the number one reason people love betting on home teams, especially in must-win games. Now, whether or not I agree with them, that's another story altogether. But I do think that the home team, Pittsburgh, will be a big public play.
All right. Well, we've talked a lot about possible public plays here. Now let's get to what we think might be sharp sides. I told you I think that the most likely candidate for a sharp side this week, in my opinion, is going to be Washington +3. What do you think out of the lines that are out right now is the most likely candidate to wind up being a sharp side?
I think it's going to be Philadelphia. Philadelphia's finally gotten rid of that whammy at home. They're no longer a bad home team, and I think they're going to regress to the mean. It should be called progress to the mean, but it's actually technically regress to the mean, where they're going to continue to play well at home. And laying only 2.5 or 3, I do think there will be sharp money on Philadelphia to continue the momentum.
Great insights, as always, Joe Duffy. I think that just about wraps up our opening lines show for NFL Week 14. Thanks so much. Talk to you again very soon.